The request was simple enough. Drive the boss's wife home. No big deal, right? Mr. Anderson was a man I respected, the kind of boss who didn't just hand out trust, he made you earn it. And I had. So when he called me into his office that evening, I thought it was about work. Instead, he tossed me his car keys and gestured toward Olivia, his wife, standing near the entrance. She needs a ride home. I'll be stuck here late, he said, barely looking up from his desk. Olivia smiled, stepping forward. If it's not too much trouble, she added, her voice smooth, almost amused. I hesitated but nodded. Of course, sir. The drive started out as expected, quiet, formal. Olivia sat in the passenger seat, scrolling through her phone, her perfume filling the space between us. I focused on the road, gripping the wheel a little tighter than necessary. You work for my husband long? She asked suddenly, breaking the silence. 5 years, I replied. He's been good to me. She chuckled, but there was something sharp in it. Good to you, maybe? To me? That's debatable. I glanced at her, unsure how to respond. She turned her attention to the passing city lights, her expression unreadable. Traffic thickened, slowing us down. She sighed. Guess I'll be home later than expected. Yeah, looks like it, I said, focusing on the road. Another pause, longer this time. Then, in a softer tone, she asked, You married? No. Dating. I shook my head. Work keeps me busy. She smirked. You sound like him. I didn't know what to say to that. She shifted in her seat, turning slightly toward me. Must be nice, she continued. Being valued. Feeling needed. I frowned. He doesn't. She exhaled, looking away. Not in the way that matters. The conversation stayed in my head long after I dropped her off. She lingered at the car door, fingers brushing the handle, eyes studying me. Thanks for the ride, she said finally. No problem. She hesitated, then smiled. See you around. As I drove away, something about the way she said it stuck with me. It wasn't a casual goodbye. It was a promise. The message came the next morning, just a simple, thanks again for last night. Appreciate it. I stared at my phone for a moment before replying with a polite, non-committal, no problem. That should have been the end of it. But it wasn't. Over the next few days, Olivia found reasons to reach out. A casual check-in, a question about her husband's schedule, a random observation about something we had talked about in the car. Nothing inappropriate, but something about it felt deliberate. Then a coincidence, or maybe not. One evening, I stopped by a quiet cafe near my apartment, a place I went to clear my head. As I sat down with my coffee, a voice cut through the hum of conversation. Didn't take you for a coffee guy. I looked up. Olivia stood there, smiling, looking effortless in a casual dress, different from the polished perfection I was used to seeing. I should have made an excuse, should have walked away, but I didn't. She sat down, uninvited, and we started talking. She asked about my life, my childhood, my ambitions, things no one at work ever cared about. And I listened as she opened up about her own. About how her marriage wasn't what people thought. How loneliness could exist even in a house full of luxury. I used to think love meant being chosen, she said, stirring her coffee absent-mindedly. But maybe it's about being seen. I didn't know how to respond, but the way she looked at me, like I was the only person in the room, made it hard to breathe. As we stood to leave, she touched my hand lightly. Just for a second. Just enough to send a current through my veins. Thanks for listening, she said, her voice quieter now. I nodded, but my mind was already racing. That night, lying in bed, I told myself it was nothing. Just conversation. Just a moment. But deep down, I knew better. The call came late, her voice softer than usual. I just needed to talk to someone. I hesitated, but then I was already grabbing my keys. She was waiting at a small restaurant tucked away from the busy streets. When I arrived, she looked different, vulnerable, tired. The confident, sharp-witted woman I had seen before was gone. I don't know why I called you, she admitted. I feel like I can breathe when I'm around you. I should have said something to stop this. But I didn't. She told me about the fights, the coldness, the way love had faded into something transactional. I don't even remember what it feels like to be wanted, she whispered, eyes searching mine. I swallowed hard. You deserve better. She reached across the table, fingers brushing mine. Do I? Everything in me screamed to leave, to walk away before this crossed a line that couldn't be undone. But then she leaned in, her lips barely an inch from mine. Tell me to stop, she breathed. I didn't. The kiss was slow, hesitant at first, but then the dam broke. Years of restraint, of denial, of pretending, it all shattered. The next hours blurred, a haze of whispers and stolen touches. When morning came, reality hit like a sledgehammer. I stared at the ceiling, the weight of my actions sinking in. She stirred beside me, smiling lazily. Don't look so guilty, she murmured. It was bound to happen, but it wasn't supposed to. At work, I could barely meet Mr. Anderson's eyes. He clapped a hand on my shoulder, calling me his most trusted employee. My stomach twisted. Olivia acted like nothing had changed. A glance here, a small smirk there. But, to me, everything had. I had stepped over the line. And now, there was no going back. The tension was suffocating. Every time Mr. Anderson spoke to me, I felt exposed, like he could see through me. Olivia, on the other hand, was completely at ease. She didn't avoid me. She didn't act nervous. If anything, she seemed amused. Days passed, but the weight of what I'd done didn't lessen. I tried to act normal, to bury the guilt, but it gnawed at me. Every text from Olivia sent a jolt of anxiety through my chest. Every conversation with Mr. Anderson felt like a trap waiting to spring. Then, the moment I feared arrived. He called me into his office, his tone unreadable. I walked in, forcing myself to stay calm. He gestured to the chair across from him, watching me closely. Close the door, he said. My heart pounded as I sat down. He leaned back, silent for a long moment, then smiled, a slow, knowing smile. I assume you already know why you're here. My mouth went dry. I trusted you, he continued. Gave you opportunities. And this is how you repay me. A chill ran through me. He knew. Before I could speak, he shook his head. You're not the first, you know. Confusion flickered in my mind. You think you're special? He laughed, but there was no humor in it. She does this. She finds someone, makes them feel chosen, and then he spread his hands. Here we are. I couldn't breathe. She already told me everything, he added. She always does. I gripped the arms of the chair, my body numb. You're fired. He leaned forward, his voice cold now. And if I were you, I'd leave quietly. I stood, legs unsteady. As I walked out, my phone buzzed. A message from Olivia. It was fun while it lasted. I stared at the words, then deleted the message. Stepping out of the office for the last time, I felt nothing. No anger. No heartbreak. Just emptiness. I had lost everything for a woman who never really wanted me.